they want to hear me. Something that they like, I say.
That's good. That's good. And where are you?
咱今日暗时是一个特别的演讲吼，咱一开始的时阵来请岳妙老师来做讲书的介绍。
Good evening, everyone.
Not yet.
Oh, not
Can
yet.
I have an
Oh,
introduction?
please. I'm jumping ahead.
Okay, have a seat, please.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to be here. I am Yue Miaochen, Dan Guanmiao, the moderator of tonight's forum. Okay. It's our great honor to invite Professor Sam Atherton to be the speaker of tonight. Okay. Let's welcome him with a big hand. Would you please? Thank you. In the very beginning, I need to introduce Professor Sam Atherton's background. I prepare a very simple introduction. Okay. Professor Sam Atherton currently is teaching at San Antonio College in Southern California. Right, he retired from industrial aeronautical industry CEO, right? And so he's teaching one course called Small Business Operation in the Department of Business Administration at San Antonio College. Okay. Actually, he has an interdisciplinary background. He holds several degrees from 6 universities, okay, such as University of Southern California and also UC Berkeley and Harvard University. He studied international relations and Norwich University as a military academy. All right, so he also studied military operation and also Benedictine University in Illinois and Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Florida and also in Arizona about airplane industry. All right, 伊是住伫南加州为这个航空业退休现主时呢，伫这个南加州的这 San Antonio College 这个企业管理系教一门课，来教人安怎经营这个小企业，所以算是 CEO 航空业的 CEO 退伍退休即马伫遐兼课 ，as an adjunct professor， 就是伫遐兼课做兼任教授。伊的即个学术的 background 足快，包括 aeronautical studies、world study， 就是讲航空的即个航空业，还有 world study 战争的即个学术。搁有即个 global strategy study， 即个战略的即个学习，搁有即个business administration。So it's a cross interdisciplinary academic background， 就是讲伊是跨领域的通才，主要是伫即个 企业管理、航空业，个战争即个学习、军事学习。所以你看，伊这学院有5、6个，有 BA、有 BS、有 MA、有 MS， Now he is also studying as a prospective PhD candidate in the World Studies Department at King's College London。伊就是即个伫即个伦敦大学的即个咧研究即个战争学术，所以伊是即个博士的候选人啦，未完全完成伊的博士的即个学位，过来就是看伊是过去所做的，就是伫企业高阶的即个管理He retired from the Atherton Airline International in Moscow。伊就是莫斯科的即个航空公司的即个高阶的经理人员的管理退休oversaw and also supervised operation across 17 airports。伊监督管理17个即个咱的即个飞机场啦，这是当然是跨州啦，跨地区，过来就是讲 manage an operation budget of 700 million， 伊操管理的即个款预算啦，有700 million， 就是即个7亿啦，7亿的即个美金啦，表示讲即间公司伊是足高阶的即个经理人员 CEO 啦，So he was exposed to global operation, accumulated over 3 million miles of travel across 6 continents。所以伊规个地球走透透，6大洲啦，即个拢总有走过300万以上的即个英里啦，所以走。尤其伊对即个东方真有兴趣So he has deep experience spanning ballroom, trade ministries, factory floors, and local markets worldwide。所以伊的经验啦，伊即个拢是第一线伊第一线啦，你即个董事会啦，即个贸易部啦，是即个工厂的生产线啦。是即个在地市场，伊拢有真深的即个即个职业的即个经验所以伊对咱东方即个政治啦、经济嘛真有研究啦，就是因为伊走来走去专门咧管理即个航空公司，搁即个伊的企业过来咱来看伊的即个。即个核心的即个 his core philosophy and approach is kind of he's a strategist with strategic vision, business and national resilience. He approaches international business with the mindset of a military strategist, identifying vulnerabilities before they become defeats。所以伊有迄个战略的即个视野啦，伊伫即个生理场啦，是即个国家的即个论性伊真了解，伊有即个视野，伊拢是啦，抱着即个观念，就是讲，伫代志未放盘以前，一定要先找出即个缺点出来，来甲伊挽救。所以伊是即个 strategic analysis and also risk analysis。伊会去分析即个危机啦，去找出即个弱点啦，伫还未放盘进前，伊希望会当挽救，所以伊咧做即个政治甲经济的即个分析，是即方面Key focus area: global strategy, economic competitiveness, and national resilience。伊主要的目标就是即全球性的战略来研究过来就即经济的即个竞争性啦，是即个国家的论述，希望讲 一个地区，还是一个所在，还是一个国家，会当有即个也未发生代志进前，就先找出即个弱点。Okay, so however, his insights and recommendations are grounded by verifiable experience. 伊拢靠伊即会当去检验的即个经验来做分析。And real world data 是实际世界的即个资料and global practice rather than pure theory. 伊毋是一个干那伫遐讲的即个理论家，伊是因为经验，足侪企业的经营，甲即个战略的分析，甲即个战争的学习，也是即个军事的研究所以伊做伙伊所提出的即个分析是会当考验的，会当验证的所以这是伊的核心的即个即个理念甲战略的思维最后其实伊嘛有写册啦，所以嘛算学者虽然伊是 CEO 退休，但是 he co-authored the Japanese Communist Party published by Routledge in London 这日本的共产党伊写一本册，当然伊毋是唯一的作者，伊是第二个作者甲人合作伊研究这日本的共产主义啦伊嘛写即个参加写稿写即个Russian-Japanese relations from 1905 through 1917, also published by Routledge Company 所以伊有写即两项算讲嘛算学者啦咱即马用热烈的鼓声甲伊拍鼓欢迎拜拜大家把迄主持关掉安尼 It's your turn. Thank you. You have your microphone.
Thank you very much. I was wondering who we were talking about, all that information. First of all, let me begin. Who speaks English so I know how to pace myself? Who speaks English? Okay, 3, 4 of you. All right. So that way, I'm going to speak slow. Most of the slides are translated into what I call Taiwanese Mandarin, not just Mandarin. I have a great love for Taiwan. I've been here more than 40 years in Taiwan, off and on, off and on. I've come here since I was very little. And my admiration and love and respect for Taiwan is unbounded, has no limits. And that's why I'm here. Whatever I can do to contribute to Taiwan's progress and future, I will be there. I will be in the front line. You'll be behind me, because I'll be in the front. I felt the same way about Hong Kong before it fell. And I lived in Hong Kong. And when that fell, that hurt. It's like a family. I don't want that to happen to Taiwan. I like to see Taiwan live on for as long as it's been here, millions of years. So I would like it to be at the forefront of the powers that be. And that's why I'm giving the speech here. I'm not going to talk about strategy, geopolitics. No, there's something more important, and it's overlooked around the world. Languages. Something no one can take away from you. Once it's embedded, once it's learned, no one can take it away. Primarily here in Taiwan, you have valuable resources, human resources, extremely intelligent, well-educated, ambitious. Nobody can take that away from you. Now use it. And what I'm going to advocate today, why Spanish and English is a critical element to Taiwan. Why do I say that? Today, Taiwan is dominated by TSMC. They have approximately 70% of GDP. I will speak in numbers because I'm a businessman. I'm a professor of business. Taiwan needs to master, not replace, English. Never replace Mandarin, Taiwanese Mandarin. That's a core element of the culture, the history. And I don't call it just Mandarin. To me, it's Taiwanese Mandarin. That's important distinction. And here, why English? Let me go slide by slide to make my case. Are they translated into a Chinese? I have them Chinese and English. Exactly. Can they enlarge it? That way they don't have it because it's too small. I need everybody to read it as I speak. Yeah, it's supposed to be in Chinese. I don't know what happened. It's not supposed to be that. I spent a lot of time translating to Chinese, so I want to show it. Yes, please. To the screen or the action. Yeah, they're running it over here. Sure, they can put English and the Chinese, like we had it before. Those that, while waiting, those that do speak English or speak little English, and if I speak too fast, just motion me, I'll slow down. I speak fluent Spanish, and in Spanish, se habla muy rápido la idioma cuando uno habla así. And then, what? ¿Qué? ¿Qué y? Okay. So, oh, got it. I was. If they can blow it up. If they can blow it up. Okay. Can those that need translation, can they read it? Can you tell them, announce it? Yeah. Okay, yeah, if they can keep it like that, that'd be good. Okay, we're good? Only that's translated, that's not moving. Okay, there we go. This is not moving. They got to go together. Yeah, when I move, the other one has to move too. Okay, got it. Okay, here's my introduction, okay, which we already gone over. Here is the outline of what I'm going to speak today, okay? Today is going to be the introduction. Taiwan is an economic power. How is it an economic power? I gave a speech last year at Tsinghua University how Taiwan became a major power which had nothing, no resources, no oil, and yet look at it today. Today, It is a major, major industrial power, the 13th largest gold reserve in the world. It produces net income here in Asia, which surpasses South Korea and even Singapore. For a little island, which I personally call the Pearl of the Pacific. That's my love for Taiwan. I'm not being patriotic, I just my feelings. I hope that you feel the same, because my affection for Taiwan is not ending. That's where I come in and I give presentations. Second, fabs. Fabs is what TSMC makes out of chips. Why it's important. Two, the importance of English, the importance of Spanish, and the conclusion. And I will argue my case why they're important. The world's most powerful island cannot speak to the world. I've come here for nearly over 40 years, and in that time span, I've realized one thing. Many tourists that come to Taiwan, they make a reservation for 2 or 3 weeks, they stay for 2 or 3 days. They cannot communicate with bus drivers, taxis, restaurants, police, hospitals, so they get frustrated. And it's been shown. They go to Singapore, they go to the Philippines, where English is fluent. You go in the street, and I lived in the Philippines. I speak Filipino, Tagalog, okay? But I don't need to. I can speak to them in English. They can respond. Singapore, 95% speak English. Look at them. They're a superpower and economic hub. Taiwan should have that, not Singapore. Taiwan should be the center of the economic hub of Asia. Why? You have the resources. You have the people. It's a massive island nation. It is an independent nation. I want to make that clear. So therefore, it should occupy that place. There's nothing wrong with Singapore. It's a beautiful city, great government. But Singapore should not be above Taiwan. See this right here? This is the arch from Taiwan to South America. People say, we don't go there. Taiwanese do not go there because of the distance. The only distance that's further is lack of communication. I could be in front of someone, and if we don't speak the same language, we could be 1,000,000 miles apart. But if somebody is in Buenos Aires, Colombia, doesn't matter where, and if I can pick up the phone and call them, they're next door to me, because I can talk to them. Why do I bring that? Because business is neglected by Taiwan in this part of the world. Why, they say? China has it. So what? The bigger they are, the harder they fall. You can make it. The world cannot identify Taiwan on a map. They cannot. You show them a map, and you say, where's Taiwan? And I've traveled all over the world. That's the introduction. They point right there. They say, Taiwan is in here somewhere, which is China. Why? All they hear is Taiwan's the chips, but they think it's in China. Do you know why? Because they hear the name Republic of China, and they hear People's Republic of China. So they hear only two things, China and China. So therefore they got to be one. That's their thinking. So I have to correct that. So no, Taiwan is an independent country. It's right out here in the South China Sea. So I have to point that out. Many people out here, they don't deal with it. And my question is, why not? Why isn't Taiwan in Latin America? Well, there's 11 countries that recognize Taiwan, only 11. 2 of them speak Spanish, Paraguay and Guatemala. That's it. The rest, Belize and St. Croix, are the other countries, it's English or French. Your biggest ally, most people don't realize it, is the Vatican. So the Vatican? Why the Vatican? It's a little church out here in Europe because they're the moral center of the Catholic Church. They command 2.5 billion people. 2.5. If you appeal to that Pope, it's politics. It will not happen. It will not happen. So I'm not an idealist. I'm a realist. But if they start appealing to him, we need your support. The Pope in 1982, 79 to 82, he was Polish. He spoke for Poland that was under communism. Today, Poland is free because the Pope spoke up for them. Your hope you're missing is the Pope that has a command of 2.5 billion people. That's more than China double. That's more than Europe, 3 times, 4 times over. More than all of Latin America. That's why Spanish is important. English is important. It's an appeal. The gap between Taipei and Latin America is not geographic. It's linguistic. Talk to them. I met yesterday with the executive director of the Latin America and Caribbean Trade Office. They're looking for people that speak Spanish. They're looking, they'll hire you right now. TSMC, they announced, they're looking for people that speak English and Spanish. It's all language that's holding you back. The job market is there if you have the tools. %90 of the world's best chips, most advanced chips are made right here. You don't know it. You control the world. One more time. You control the world, but they make you believe that you're too small, that you're nobody. You're everything. Taiwan is everything. Right here, we carry Taiwan everywhere we go. In your car, in your TV, everything that you do, you have command of it. All I am saying is use it. It is a tool of power, but they've gotten you to believe that it's not. Every bet has a hedge. What can I use it as an advantage? What is Taiwan's? The throne. Every technology has a certain lifespan. It is introduced, has a life, it has a plateau, it declines, and it falls. When that will happen, I don't know. TSMC is not going to fall tomorrow. They're going to be around for a long time. However, the United States, South Korea, Europe, China, Japan, they're investing a lot of money to catch up to Taiwan. So if they're catching up, that means they're the leaders. They're behind. Don't ever forget that. Taiwan is ahead. They can stay ahead, but they need to master the language. And I'm going to make my case. Anybody recognize these companies? What happened to them? Kodak, they were arrogant. They were at the top. They could never fall, they thought. They're bankrupt. Blockbuster. Netflix, nothing. We don't worry. They're gone. Nokia. Anybody have a Nokia phone? Nobody. Sears. They forgot to get into the internet. Phone. Anybody have the rotary phone at home for grandma? They're gone. TSMC is thinking in that form. They could be up there in a year or 20 years. They don't need to be. TSMC, 70% of the global pure foundries marketing revenue. Taiwan dominates the world. They do. A little island. It's only a little bigger than Southern California. That's it. Little speck. But yet, look how much power you have. The pattern's always the same. They dominate. The warning signs, competition's a warning sign. A dismissal like it cannot happen to Taiwan. And the collapse, they finally fall and they realize it when it's too late. Don't let that happen to Taiwan. One asset has never been dethroned, language. Spanish has been around for centuries. Doesn't matter when a country takes over, it still stays in place. English, the same thing. English is widespread around the world. It is a language of business, aviation, medicine, technology. Anybody here know what's the second most spoken language in the world? Spanish. Most people don't even know that. There are 560 million Spanish speakings around the world, and nobody's addressing that market. That market is approximately $10 to $12 trillion. That's a huge market. Why isn't Taiwan in it? Mexico, Honduras, Guatemala, Colombia, Buenos Aires. They like technology. They like the phone. But like I was speaking to the executive director yesterday, they can't find people. They cannot find people. Here, how many here speak Spanish? Anybody in this room speak Spanish? ¿Quién habla español? Un poquito. Y din din. No bueno. That's money you leave on the table when you cannot communicate with the consumer. Can't do that. The syllogism that drives the entire presentation, a major premise. Here, business, the firm that communicates in the buyer's language. I can sell the product if I can communicate with them. I don't speak Chinese, even though I've been here for over 40 years. I've been lazy. It's my fault. Why? In Hong Kong, it's an English colony. So I didn't need to speak it. Been in the Philippines, English colony, meaning in English, the language. At one time, Taiwan spoke more English because they had the American bases. They left, nobody spoke it anymore. One of the biggest problems that Taiwan has, but it can be remedied, they have the bilingual 2030, but they only teach, for the most part, how to read it and how to write it and how to pass exams. You need to be able to teach the students from K to 12 and university level proficiency, how to communicate. Because when your government representatives go around the world, the default language is English. The UN, English. IMF, English. Olympics, English. The World Cup, English. I'm not advocating like English as an imperialistic mode. No, I'm talking about business. You go where the business is, where it's located. If somebody is selling lemonade in a corner, selling foods, you sell what they sell, but you make it better. In business, we call it making a better mousetrap. You have the better mousetrap. Use it. Minor premise, English and Spanish are two languages that unlock every high-value market. You have that market. You dominate it. Use it. The conclusion, Taiwan's most actionable, highest return on investment strategy investment is English. Whatever you invest, for every dollar, you get 5 back or 20 back. That is not a bad investment. Taiwan's economic powerhouse. Give you a breakdown. 70% of GDP is export-driven. Taiwan manufactures and exports. Not too long ago, The main product of Taiwan export were plastics, radios, clothing, toys. Now that has shifted all the way to TSMC. That's where the market is. That's where the business is. Why? That's what people want. Highly educated people move there. They could be making 150,000 US dollars to start. The more you speak a language, not only the technical skills, it will help you. Foreign exchange reserves, $605 billion. Taiwan could fund its entire national budget. The funds is there. How are you using it? Number 1, China. 2, Japan. 3, Switzerland. 4th, India. 5th, guess who? Taiwan. Out of 200 countries in the world, little Taiwan is up there. And up there in what? Less than 5%. That is massive. That's impressive. All I am advocating to you here, someone in government, someone in decision making must decide that language is an investment. It's a tool. They need to apply the same resources that they do to TSMC as to language. You need to diversify. TSMC and semiconductors, who dominates? These are true graphs, true numbers. Look at that. Samsung 6%, Intel 2, others 2. There's no competition. I'm sure you know these numbers. I'm putting these in perspective to what you need to make progress. GDP per capita. Look at this. We're talking about around the world. You have a great standard of living here. Unfortunately, yes, there are homeless here. There's a lot of issues on high rent. But there's issues everywhere. They're not unique to Taiwan. They're unique to the world. Here, GDP per capita. Again, see Taiwan? That's driven a lot by the employees and the income of TSMC. That needs to be distributed by language. History does not offer exceptions. Here in the 1950s, steel dominated. 60s, Detroit, Japan in the 80s, electronics, Taiwan today. It goes through cycles. What's going to happen in 10 years, 20 years? I would like to see Taiwan carry on the dominance. I'd like to see Taiwan in 2030, 2040, 2080, 3000, and move on. We're not going to be here then, but if you leave that legacy, you don't have to worry about what you left behind. The question for this room, if TSMC stumbles tomorrow, a war, an export ban, a chip glut, what is Taiwan's plan B? What do they fall back on? They don't have a plan that I know of. Maybe I hope that they do. I hope I'm wrong. But my alternative right now, language. How and why? You got a whole continent in South America and Central America of 500 million people. Everybody's familiar with Sun Tzu, Bin Fa Sun Tzu, the art of war. All business is based on war, adversarial contest. Don't let anybody tell you differently. Look at the world today. Everybody's competing to beat Taiwan. The fabs focus. At one time, the Netherlands transferred all their production, all their focus to liquid gas. Then a few years later, that ran out. Why? Everybody was flooding the market for liquid gas. When that ran out, inflation came in because there was nothing to fall back on. It took a while to catch on. What happens if TSMC falls tomorrow? I am not only focusing on TSMC. No, there's other industries. The reason I'm mentioning them is because they're the most famous in the world, most productive for Taiwan, and the dominant factor in Taiwan. But they're not the only ones. I use that only as an example. Saudi Arabian oil, Nigeria oil, Australia, mining, Venezuela, oil. I'm going to give you a little geopolitical aspect now that I bring into the little military that knowledge that I have. China used to be in Venezuela. Not anymore. China used to be in Panama. Not anymore. Those are two countries that who should be in there? Taiwan. It's a vacuum. Fill it in. They asked me yesterday when I was meeting with the executive director, what do I recommend? Because I've traveled all Latin America. I know the culture, I know the language, I know the systems. What do I recommend for Taiwan to go there? One, start recruiting people from those countries to come to Taiwan and let them know Taiwan. Send people from Taiwan going there. Well, they've been trying for 2 years to recruit people from Taiwan to go to Latin America. They've got nobody, zero. Second, they have free zones, tax-free zones in all these Latin countries for businesses from Taiwan to go there. I was told, and I was surprised, no business wants to go there from Taiwan. No business. One of them, they said, they don't speak the language. There's a whole area that Taiwan has gotten for businesses from Taiwan to go there, establish business, no taxes, so I'm informed, but they can't get Taiwanese companies to go there. Taiwan has many millionaires and billionaires, but they cannot invest in there. That's a lost market. Why? Language. The three-stage mechanism applied to Taiwan: the boom, the squeeze, the hollowing. What that simply means is that when you start at a certain business, you use it up, and it reaches a plateau, and you exhaust it. Now what do you have? Nothing. I always ask the question of, when I was a CEO, what happens if something happens with the oil prices, they skyrocket, that we cannot afford it? We're out of business. Taiwan single bed is right here. It's like anybody invest in here. If you invest all of your money in one area, what happens if that business goes under? You fail. So Taiwan is a business. That's what it runs on. It has to diversify. And it's very easy. And the reason I recommend Spanish is the second most spoken language. Number two, Taiwan today has a decline in birth rates. Massive. It's one of the lowest, if not the lowest country for birth. And the opposite is Latin America. They have one of the highest birth rates. So in opposite directions. So my argument is a simple one. Why not compensate for your lack of birth rates or low birth rates and concentrate where there's a higher birth rate, where they need products that Taiwan can manufacture, can sell to them? You've got a market there. Again, it's approximately $10 to $12 trillion market. Everybody wants to go in there. Here's some news. Everybody around the world wants to go to America. They want to sell the products. We're the world's largest consumer country in the world. President Trump knows that. So the people that do not comply to American policy, they increase the tariffs. That makes it so expensive. Here's a problem. The United States has approximately 60 million Hispanics. One more time. The United States has approximately 60 million Hispanics. Their purchasing power is about $4 trillion, them alone, $4 trillion. A problem? Nobody, even the United States, does not address them. They're ignored. Taiwan sells a lot of products to the American consumer, but they don't focus on that one group that comprises, if they were a country by themselves, it'd be the 5th largest economy in the world. I'm giving you numbers that are real. 5th largest economy in the world, just in Southern California. California, Arizona, Texas, Florida, New York, Hispanics. Whether they're from Mexico, from Cuba, Puerto Rico, wherever it might be. What's the focus of Taiwan in Spain? Most people don't even identify it as such. Why? Spanish again. Now, I'm oversimplifying this, of course, but I want to draw your attention of the language barriers that Taiwan has. And it's not a hard choice to make. It's not an expensive one. You already focus on bilingual 2030. How about on bilingual Spanish? I say trilingual. If Taiwan takes Taiwanese Mandarin, Spanish and English, you dominate that. You already speak Mandarin. English, now pick up Spanish. Your market would be 3.5 billion people on the planet. I'm giving you numbers. Now, I'm not implying or suggesting that you're going to dominate the entire market. But no, there's enough there to go around that it will sustain Taiwan's future far, far into the future. And that's what I'm here to see Taiwan continue in prosperity, not just in existence, but to prosper. The portfolio principle, the rule, diversify. What is wrong with English and Spanish? You know, Taiwan has some of the most brilliant people in math. They score one of the highest in the world in chemistry, in physics, in medicine. Those are all languages. If I put a music score up there, and if you know how to read it, that's a language, isn't it? That is a language. If I put a formula of mathematics, that's a language. Pero si pongo una letra, algo en español, huh? They're lost. If you can learn math, if you can teach them music, English, Spanish is one of the easiest languages in the world. It's one of the easiest. Taiwan's portfolio, one industry, one buyer cluster, one foreign language. It's 1-1-1. The financial risk Taiwan has not prized. A finance audience understands this language. Hedge, single source, geographically concentrated supply risk is a liability. Taiwan's has approximately 45% of its revenue from Asia. 45%. That's nearly half. It's too close, it's too easy. But you got a whole world out there. Asia is not the only one. You got South America. Again, I keep hitting on that because it's ignored. TSMC's competitive mode is shrinking. The mode is the ocean around Taiwan. Maybe, I can't speak for them, of course. The thinking maybe, and I say maybe, we're protected. The oceans, we have no problem. But they don't have to come in here. It's coming from out there. We're developing those products in America, Japan, South Korea, Europe, China. And now you don't have the competitive there anymore. Why? Your competition took it over, or they matched it. Again, Taiwan, TSMC is going to be around for a while, so don't think it's going to go out of business. It is not. Fab Focus has a cure. You can fix that problem or potential problem. It's not a problem yet. Diversify export sectors. Diversify your market of consumers. Don't just focus on one sector, the English-speaking world. It's an important sector, but that's the other part that's left out. And I say South America. It's a whole continent like it doesn't exist. Diversify talent deployment. How? Everybody in here can learn Spanish. Now you can have a second job or first job, work for the government. But the way I look at it, you're not working for your government, you're working for your country. You're exporting talent. You're bringing talent to the world that they may not even know about Taiwan. That's the reason I'm a strong advocate that the government should have exchange universities, Mexico City to NTU, Shanghua, whatever universities, city to city. Taiwan can send people there. Another solution, Taiwan has a diplomatic corps, but it's small and Spanish speaking. In the United States, if you want to learn a language and you're in the military intelligence, they send you to, one example, Monterey. They have a whole town simply of Chinese if you want to learn Chinese or Russian. And your every day that you're there, post signs, billboards, radio, everything is in the language you're studying. So after 16 weeks or whatever time frame it is, you will be acclimated to that language. Taiwan can do the same thing. If a mind can develop what they did with TSMC, exports, and create the economic power that it has, teaching a language to a core of diplomats is relatively easy. 7 revenue gates, all locked into the buyer's language. All of these come back to a language. I'm not meaning to oversimplify it. No. You have enough people there, extremely talented. I have a great respect for the Taiwanese people. I've been here so long. I teach many Taiwanese students that go overseas to learn. They're at the top of the class every time. I don't mean that to patronize. I mean it because it's true. They're up there to learn. They come home and they forget English because it's not practice. They speak it well enough to get by in class, to get straight A's or high grades, but they come home, they have no choice but to speak the language that's native to them. There's nothing wrong with that. But English must be a dominant language in Taiwan to be competitive. Again, I want to emphasize, never replace Taiwanese Mandarin as part of the culture. It will always be. The importance of English. I just named some of them up here. The importance of English. Aviation. I've been in the airline business for too many years. Pilots have to speak English. The tower has to understand English to give directions. Anything happens, the NTSB in in Washington comes over to, God forbid, any accident. It's in English when they pull the black box. They interview people in English. Shipping and maritime trade, English. United Nations, English. IMF, World Bank, English. Computing, English. It's not that English is the best. It's simply, it's been programmed over history that is a default language. Again, it's not that it's the best. Every language has its merits. It's good. But from a business perspective, English is the key. And here I just outlined 20 English-dominant areas of the world. Air and space cargo, international law, pharmaceuticals, medical research. Tourism is a major one here. I don't speak Chinese, and when I go on the MRT and I need to get somewhere and I ask a policeman or whoever's there, they have to get on the phone and call somebody. Or I have to get on the phone and call somebody. Otherwise, I end up in Hong Kong or something. I get lost. They should be able to speak it. Hospitals should be able to speak it. Taxi drivers. So when tourists come over, the default language is English, and it increases your revenue. I don't know how much money is lost and lost revenue from tourism. It's a beautiful nation here, But if people just don't stay for long once they come here. They can't communicate. International sports. Everybody watch these the World Cup 2 weeks ago? English. Even though Spain and Argentina were Spanish-speaking countries, the transmission is international English. English is the world's default working language. The UN, academia, financing. That's what banking does. I'm not justifying that it's good. I'm just simply saying it is what it is. You deal with reality. Finance and banking. English is the language of capital. The stock market, New York Stock Exchange, Bloomberg, Reuters, international news. English is economic infrastructure. Go to Singapore, if anybody's been there, go to banking, go to finance, English speaking, no problem. You go to a bank here in Taiwan, and they might speak English. Again, that is not a negative insofar as the business for Taiwan, but to attract international business, my advocacy, bring international financing to Taiwan. And that would not be in the hundreds of millions or hundreds of billions, it'd be in the trillions. That's your shield. That is truly your protection. Why? Everybody has a skin in the game. Everybody has an interest in protecting what Taiwan has, their money. English proficiency, okay? Where's Taiwan? Singapore, look how high it is. Taiwan can be up there. Just converse, practice. How other Asian nations built English proficiency? Again, Singapore and Philippines were colonies, so English was already embedded. So it's not a fair comparison to put Taiwan in there. It's not fair. But it doesn't mean they cannot catch up. Taiwan teaches English to pass tests. Business needs conversations. If you took the test, English in Taiwan, and you got straight A's, high grades in passing the exam, that's good. But if I sit across the table from you, and I say, give me the ledger and give me the profits and loss. What company is in the red? What company is in the what? They're lost. One, I may speak too fast. In business, they're not going to speak slow. In business, time is money. To slow down is money lost. I used to run meetings like this. I just speak fast in Spanish because I was the CEO for an airline in Mexico. So I was there speaking fast, and they just wonder, how did this guy speak it fast? How does he speak our language? Easy. You practice. You become acculturated. You immerse yourself in that language. So you bring teachers from these countries, whether it's Central America, Mexico, Spain, to teach in Taiwan. Now you're teaching the students of Taiwan in the native language by native speakers. So when they come out, they're as fluent as anyone in Mexico or anywhere else in the Spanish world. Now you impress the world even more. Taiwan's current system, reading and comprehension exams, grammar, Mandarin only listening exams. All I am advocating is not, again, I'll say it again and again, because people say, oh, you want to get rid of Mandarin or Taiwan? He said, no, wrong. I want to reinforce that, but I want to supplement it with multilingual, like they do in Germany or throughout Europe. They speak 3-4 languages there. Why not here? I'm bringing my experience of world travel to supplement Taiwan, to make Taiwan all the better. I'm all for Taiwan, like I said before, and I meant that. When the struggle goes, you're going to be behind me. I'm going to be in the front. I've been here too long. when I talk to people, I tell them I'm more Taiwanese than them. So how's that? I said, because I've been longer in Taiwan than you've been alive. So I feel I'm more Taiwanese. But you don't speak the language. You don't have to speak the language to love a country. Go to the States. A lot of Taiwanese, when they're young, their parents take them to the States. They can't speak any Chinese or Mandarin. They can't. But they're still Taiwanese. Why not me in reverse? The economic cost of Taiwan's language gap is costing Taiwan a lot of money. Companies will not buy from a supplier what they don't understand. I go to restaurants all the time, and and it's not my fault. I'm going to take blame. It's my fault. I don't speak the language. That's my fault. But when businesses, I'm talking about large businesses, want to sell to a customer that doesn't speak their language, that's the company's fault now. Singapore, financial hub. A lot of reasons, but one of them that I focus on is the language. Banks, financiers, business entrepreneurs, they feel comfortable there. They don't worry about language. They don't pull out a Google phone to talk and say, what is this about? What are you saying? No. They talk very clearly, back and forth. They understand each other. English is not Western. It is the operating system of other economies that already installed it. One more time. It is not an acculturation, it's business. I have no intention of changing Taiwan's history or culture. I want to make it better, supplement it, be stronger. And there's a lot of things I can talk about, but I'm only focusing on language today. I could talk to you about laser beams, space satellites, military geography, geopolitics, but that's not the purpose of this talk. The purpose today is language, one aspect that most people have totally forgotten. The importance of Spanish. By 2050, English will remain widely used globally, but Mandarin, Chinese, and Spanish are expected to grow significantly. Spanish is going to take over. Now, when that happens, what is Taiwan going to do when they can't speak Spanish? Now, they say, oh, that's not a problem. We depend on interpreters. There's a problem. One, it's expensive. Two, it's time delay. Three, do you really trust them? That's the key. In business, you have to trust your consumer and buyer. If I buy a car, I trust that car is going to run for a few years, that it's not going to break down tomorrow. All business is based on trust. When I was a CEO, I would have to sign contracts or purchases on the assumption that I could trust that product, whatever it might be. Spanish, 660 million blind spot is being ignored. 660 million Hispanics. Imagine that population. It's twice of the United States. Where the money comes from. Okay, for Taiwan, 58%. North and Asia, North America, 35%. Europe, 6%. Asia, where is it? See that? Compare it now to Africa. Latin America, look where it's at, 0.4. Where does Taiwan get this? It should not even be there in that number. It should be up there higher. I'm advocating that somebody here, somewhere, some days, argues the same argument that I'm making to somebody who will listen. Why isn't Taiwan focusing and expanding, diversifying? Spanish today, by the numbers, over 600 million. Native Spanish speakers, 519 million. First and second third language Spanish speakers, 92 million. Currently active studying, 24 million. Third world's largest mother tongue, not native, that's spread around the world. Growth in Spanish, 79%. It's a growth market. It's a growth market that you need to apply your skills. Taiwan has a human resource, extremely intelligent, driven population. Spanish is the world's second largest, most spoken native language. See Mandarin up there? Spanish up here. Number 1, right here, number 2. Most people in Taiwan do not even think of learning Spanish. Most of them focus, English is enough. I'm showing you the numbers. The numbers don't lie. A whole continent from southern US all the way down to Argentina is basically ignored. Now, I hear the argument from politicians that I've spoken to, government officials, we cannot compete with China. They're embedded. Wrong. Wrong. When I have people working with me, I want winners, thoroughbreds, people that say that wall is there, I can get through. I don't want that. I want somebody who says, I can tear down that wall. Oh, the mountain's too high. You climb and conquer that mountain. I want winners, thoroughbreds to my right and to my left. I don't want them behind me. We go together as one march, one mindset. So when somebody says, we cannot compete with China, that's nonsense. I already give you the numbers. Venezuela is a void, Panama's a void, and the countries that deal with China today, they're not happy. Why? Contracts are broken. Taiwan can come in there and says, we're a democracy, we're a free nation, we can help each other out. Not one or the other, one to the other. Every business contract is mutual, one hand over the other. You've got to use marketing skills, psychological skills to attract those countries. And those countries are those customers. And that helps Taiwan improve economically. And in the long run, you will get that recognition. They're being bought with money. You can buy them with education, with logic. And your most appealing appeal, you know what it is? Freedom. We underestimate it because we're so used to it. We take it for granted. They don't. They want it. Appeal that way. So never tell me it cannot be done. I don't want to hear that. When I have my children that were young, they tell me I can't do something, push-ups. They tell me again, can't do it, double. Can't do it again, 3 times. Now, one is a physician assistant, just below an MD. The other one studying law, the other one MBA. Whatever level bar you give them, they will climb that. I just gave you a bar. Can you climb it? Yes, you can if you put your mind to it. Nothing is impossible unless you put it here that's impossible. I always teach my students a formula. A problem is not a problem until you make it a problem. No, a problem to me is something to solve, something to overcome. If I don't find the solution, I find people that are smarter than me, and got the world's full of those because I'm not that smart. I know how to find people that can solve problems. I come to Taiwan. You can solve it. Don't tell me no. The U.S. Hispanic market, $4 trillion. The U.S. Hispanic market, just Hispanics. That is massive. It beats Taiwan many times over. Fastest growing consumer demographics, number 1. Far and away. Here's the good news. The United States market for Hispanics is growing. Number 2, they're your best appeal because they come from countries that have been oppressed, whether it's Cuba, Venezuela, Mexico, and they recognize that. Most likely, I have no idea who's going to be president next time. But let's say, for example, that is Rubio. He would love to see this country free and away from authoritarianism. That's Hispanic. Judges, Hispanics are growing. Professors, educators, entrepreneurs, Hispanics. That's your market right there. The business sector of Taiwan needs to appeal to those in the United States and the ones in South America, Central America. But nobody wants to go there. Nobody. That's what I found out yesterday anyway. Taiwan's 7 Latin American and Caribbean diplomatic allies. South America, Spanish. Guatemala, Spanish. Brazil, Belize, English. French, English, English, English. Only 2 allies. Apply to the others that you can make them your allies. Don't ever think they can always stay there. Countries move on one thing. One more time. Countries move on one thing. Self-interest. That's what motivates a country, just like people. You buy what motivates you, what's your interest. Countries are no different. They come and they go. For many years, many countries did not want to recognize Israel. It's a world power today. Why can't Taiwan be? You have the talent. You have the economic power. You have the technology. Don't ever think you cannot do it. China started in 2007. Taiwan has not started yet in developing in Central and South America. They have not started. It's overdue. If this little talk can motivate somebody here to write, to call, to speak and saying, I heard this crazy guy. He gave a good idea. Spanish should be in the curriculum of our colleges and universities and K through 12. Why not? Well, your first problem, parents. They don't need to learn Spanish. Who will speak Spanish? There's no need in that. I just gave you the numbers. They just have to be educated. I understand, and I don't know this for sure, there are 3 universities in Taiwan that specialize in Spanish. Other universities have Spanish, but the focus on Spanish, there's 3. You have 140 schools, universities in Taiwan. Why doesn't every school teach Spanish? In English. Right now we're speaking of Spanish. You can do that, but you got to change the mindset. See blue? That's Taiwan. That's it. Right here, that's Guatemala, Paraguay, the Caribbean. You can't even see those. The population of all of them is just a few million, all combined. You can barely see right here. That's the Vatican. See how tiny they are? There's another problem. Paraguay is holding South America for you. Why? Most people don't know it. There's an association of nation consumers. China has been trying to get them all to sell only to China. Here's the problem. It's an association, it's called Mercado. And what they have is an association that simply says, no one nation can sell to China without unanimous consent. And the only one that keeps saying no is Paraguay, so nobody trades with China. But there's a problem. Half of the people there want to trade with China because they're farmers. China's come in and says, we'll buy 60% or whatever large number of soybeans, wheat, and other products they manufacture. The government is cracking. I mean, yes, no, but here's the point. They're still strong for Taiwan. What happens in the next election? What if the next president says, yeah, we're going to recognize Beijing. We're going to break with Taiwan. Then all the countries in that association, they leave Taiwan, they don't trade, and they go to China. This one right there is the one that you need to appeal to. Guatemala's delegation was here 2 weeks ago. They were at the Sheraton Hotel. I was there. And I went to one of the Taiwanese delegates. I just approached them. And I spoke to them in Spanish. In Chinese. Didn't understand. How is that possible? They need to speak the language of their ally. Countries that have signed Belt and Road Initiatives cooperation documents, these are the countries. Look at South America. Why can't Taiwan be in there? It should be in there. They're consumers. You have something you can sell them. All I'm saying is, don't leave the fight. Get in there. Don't be afraid. Here, of Hispanics, Mexico, 120 million. Colombia, 51, and it goes down, on and on. That's a whole continent right here, from southern Mexico all the way down is Spanish, except for Brazil. Okay. Same to China and control of major Latin American ports. One of the major ports was Panama. The U.S. is there now. Just like the Suez Canal, the Strait of Hormuz, Malacca, those are choke points. That's another strategic point of military, of business, but we're not going to cover that. But they're also important for the transit of business, of oil. China gets about 70, 80% of its oil from the Middle East that goes down through Malacca with Singapore up the South China Sea. Why is that important? Because South Korea gets it, Japan does too, the Philippines does too, all these countries do. They're important. That's the reason Taiwan should be in the Panama Canal. It's a void right now. So is Venezuela. The combined value of English plus Spanish. Look at this. Total speakers, 2.5 billion people. You're not going to get all of those, but if you just get 10%, 5%, 2%, Taiwan doesn't have to worry. But if everybody here speaks Chinese, and I speak no Chinese, and if I want to sell you something, I can't explain to you what the value is, what's good about it, why should you buy it? Same thing there. ¿Qué dice? Yo no entiendo nada. What do you say? I don't understand a thing, so they don't buy. Communicate in your consumer's language. Taiwanese Mandarin, English, Spanish. It's a trilingual bridge. You can, it amazes me that Taiwanese, they play musical instruments, which is a language, when you read a music score, when you read formulas. Spanish, don't let that clutter you. It's just another discipline. And it's very easy to learn. Especially if you start bringing students from Latin America, teachers, and you create an environment. Those that were in Hong Kong before 1997 when I was there, you would watch the news and you see them speaking in English, or I'm sorry, in Cantonese, and the subtitles were in English. You could pick it up. Same thing with other programs. They would have subtitles in English. Maybe Taiwan should do the same thing with programs here. Restaurants, and I'm talking about tourism, in Chinese, in English, or Japanese, which is another major market. but you should have that language that's integral, our infrastructure to Taiwan. You would have more people coming in. Otherwise, they look at pictures, what is that? And the waitress says, oh, and the English speaking, what does this say? Oh. And I understand that, okay? Not everybody's going to accommodate English. That is not what I'm saying. Again, I am not saying that the country change its policy to only English, not at all. I'm speaking strictly of business for Taiwan's economic survival, economic well-being. Every nation survives on economics. Let inflation hit Taiwan, see what happens. Food riots, social riots, no homes. Every nation goes through that. Latin American market, what Taiwan is missing. Population, 660 million. Combined, approximately 7 trillion. Growth rate, 5%. Taiwan's share, 30 billion. There are people in Taiwan that have 30 billion. You can buy some apartments here in Taipei that run you, what, $5 million? Just a fraction of this. Taiwan should have a lion's share, meaning the bigger pie. Taiwan has spent a generation perfecting silicone for English-speaking customers. The English-speaking world buys silicone. It has spent 0 generations preparing for the next 600 million Hispanics. It's all been focused to English. Little or none in Spanish. Finally, concluding, here is what I call the FAB, okay, is active and measurable. 51% of semiconductors export dependency mirrors every historical case. They grow, they introduce, they grow, they plateau, they decline, and they fall. Every business does that. Choke points represents $12 to $15 billion in annual unpriced financial risk. Don't leave money on the table. That's a business you can have. Language is not culture. It is economic infrastructure. It is not culture. I can go anywhere in Latin America and I can feel comfortable. I speak the language. I can go to the Philippines, Filipino, Tagalog, or English. I'm at home. I can go to Europe. I don't speak Russian or German, but because English is the default language, I can get by very easily. A lot of people in Taiwan only focus on English, which is proper, but they need to pick that up to be fluent conversation English. Singapore proved it in 1965. Philippines proved it in 2005. Taiwan can prove it in 2026. The Philippines, they get, my best estimate rather, the Philippines gets a few $1 billion in business from call centers. If you call up in the United States to a business, chances are you're going to reach somebody in the Philippines. They speak fluent English. Companies save a lot of money by putting the call centers in India or the Philippines, because they don't have to pay them $25, $30 or whatever they pay in the US. But they make billions of dollars in the Philippines. Why? That reduces a lot of unemployment that otherwise would be there. These people make good money speaking on the phone and solving customers' problems. Are there any call centers here in Taiwan? There are none. I've never called it, and I call all the time. I've never reached somebody, hi, this is Joan Wong in Taiwan. I've never reached anybody. Where are you, Philippines? Where are you, Mexico? Where are you, India? Because they speak the language. That is a lot of millions of dollars that Taiwan can be using. Three truths about data. Taiwan is over-concentrated in one area. That's a fact. Language is the cheapest hedge. Just educate them. There's not much spent. You're already spending it on bilingual 2030, and it works to a certain degree. I'm just saying expand it, redirect it. The window's closing. Korea, Singapore, Philippines, India are already 20 plus years into their language investments. They're ahead. Taiwan needs to catch up. Latin America has 10 trillion reasons to care about Taiwan. What does that mean? That's the money that they have that would like to buy your products. People buy where the products are that they need. They give quality, they give utility, meaning what use is it to me? It's called utility in economics. Will Taiwan be remembered as a country that made the world's chips, or will a country that financed the world's future? Which one will it be remembered by? Taiwan's next century. Taiwan built its first century on silicon. His next century will be built on communications. Communicate to the world. Thank you very much. If anybody has any questions, please feel free. Sir.
You speak such a long about the language, and I study the language. My opinion, I think the problem of Taiwan, it's not only language. The main focus on the Taiwan should be politics. 台湾的问题呢，并不在于语言，不是这语言的代志呢。台湾是政治的代志。The politics change everything. Election, 选举。So my focus, right? It's a bit different from yours, okay? The domestic problem in Taiwan, it's not so much the language. And then Taiwan have no problem of the money. Taiwan problem is who is the boss. 这是问题，就在于选举。所以台湾呢，不是要努力赚钱，台湾要努力的提出主权回来。So the politics in Taiwan is the key. It's not the money. So I encouraged that just like you encourage the language. I encourage the politics, because without the politics, if you are not the boss, you lost. You become the slave. 你就变成奴隶。为什么？当中共进来的时候，你这个赚的钱全部都没好了。Okay, that's it. Thank you very much.
If I can respond to that, please.
Sure.
I am familiar with the politics of the blue party, green party, purple party, psychedelic party. In America, we have something, but not to that extreme. I understand you've got the DDP, you've got the KMT. I understand that, but it's beyond my ability as a foreigner to get into the politics of the country. That is not my place. I'd be insulting you if I tell you your problems. So I won't do that. It's like me coming into your home and telling you, I don't like the color of your curtains. I don't like your sofa. That'd be rude. I am, like I said, I've been here for nearly 50 years. I am familiar. I was here before Taipei 101 was built. I was here before the subways. A lot of the roads were muddy. They were not paved. I stay out of politics. I have opinion. I am very aware of them. I talk to politicians, but this is not my place. I respect that. I may not like something, but it's not my place to tell anybody here, this is what it should be. That is not, but I take your point. It is very well taken. But since you brought it up, I agree with you. I won't say any more than that, but I agree with what you're saying. When you have different parties clashing against each other, instead of working together, you're not going to move anywhere. So your point is very well taken, and I totally respect it. It's not working.
Language itself, right? English. It's the number one. Because to survive today for Taiwan is English. 我台湾的生存是在英语，这个是对的。语言会使到台湾，互去互世界看到。Language, it is right, but for Spanish, I have a little bit doubt. 因为呢，西班牙文对政治的影响，对我们台湾并不大。English, okay, that part I agree with you, but in terms of Spanish, because it's not politically important. Politically important, it's English for Taiwanese. 英文对台湾人的未来才是最重要的，因为在政治上，英语决定一切，而不是在西班牙文。OK， 谢谢。
Well, let me just respond to that. Politics runs on economics. You don't have economics, you don't have politics because the people vote them out because there's no jobs, inflation, no food on the table. One more time, like my slide said, business like war is adversarial. Yes, English is indispensable in the world today. I'm not advocating just English for the sake of English. No, I'm advocating because it is a language of business. I gave 20 examples, whether it's aviation, whether it's the UN, whether it's World Cup. But Spanish is a whole market that's been ignored. I'm not choosing Spanish because of Spanish itself, but because it's a marketplace that's been ignored, just like English, but it's not been focused on, unfortunately. If I thought French was it, or Swahili, I advocate those languages. But when you got the numbers that the number 2 most spoken language is Spanish, and you got a consumer base that's ignored, I say maybe let's refocus some of our attention, not exclusively, not only, but let's refocus our attention on Spanish. Yes, sir.
Number 2 problem is social security. South America is not safe. Mexico is not safe. Mexico, a lot of gangsters, a lot of ufas, don't play baseball. So the living there, why won't they? But you have no answer.
Okay, let me respond to that. Warren Buffett, a few months ago, took out $500 billion from TSMC. He just took it out. Do you know why? He's not safe with China across the bay. He says, I cannot afford to lose money if there's a geopolitical problem.
That's why I say politics.
Oh, no, I'm not disputing that. That's what I'm saying. I won't get into politics because that's out of my frame, out of respect for this audience and for the country. Oh, I have a lot of opinions because one of my studies is military geopolitics. Oh, no, I have more on that than I do on language. I can sit here for 3-4 hours and talk to you about military, the geopolitics, the choke points, what Taiwan should spend the money, like on drones, not on tanks. Well, I can go on, but that's not my place. But again, I agree with you. Nobody wants to go to Mexico. I live in Southern California. Tijuana, Mexico, is 130 miles across. You take a chance on your life going there. I'm fully aware. I'm not blind to it. I'm not ignorant to it. I know. But when a country says, I will protect this zone for Taiwanese businesses, they will protect them. The problem is when they go outside. But they don't have to go outside because they can have their enclave, their community within that community of a base. Your business grows. One of the reasons you have a lot of crime in Mexico, there's too much corruption in government. I've been there. I worked there. I have bodyguards around me because they were kidnapping executives, presidents, millionaires. There's a kidnapping of a child in Mexico every 20 minutes or so. I'm very aware of that. I'm not afraid of it. Here, you have do you have any gangs in Taiwan? Crime? Yeah. You have organized crime, but it's low-key and not reported. Just like in Mexico, you go to Cancun, Acapulco, Mexico City, there's a lot of crime, but they don't report it because it hurts tourism. It hurts business. No, I am aware of the politics and the unsafe areas there. But you can't go to anywhere in the world where it's 100% safe. The only place that's going to be safe is in heaven, not on earth. You can walk down, what is it? I was here I think December. Some crazy nut took a knife and started stabbing people in the street right there by Main Station. Out of nowhere, there's poor kids on his motorcycle. He's dead. Some fool, some crazy man decided to stab somebody for no reason. Any place can be unsafe. And I'm not disputing it, I'm agreeing with you. All I am saying is things happen, but that's not going to hold me from starting a business to make progress. Fear cannot hold you back. I refuse that, I will not. I'm cautious, but I won't hold me back. I'm sorry, somebody else had a question? I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
Thank you for your sharing.
Bukashi.
English and Spanish are good tools.
Are they good tools?
Yeah.
Is that a
He
question?
said yes.
Yeah, in my opinion, yes, they are good tools. They're not the only tools, but yes, they are good tools.
In the past, our Taiwanese words, character are Romanization Taiwanese. We have the writing system in Romanization words.
Right, like in English we call it pinging.
Yes, yes. But our language has been banned in the past for several decades.
I know.
By KMT,
I know.
especially by the so-called ROC regime.
I'm familiar with Taiwanese was not taught in schools.
Yes, and even be punished at school in the public places.
I am more familiar than you think with Taiwan.
So that's why we are speaking Mandarin Chinese in Taiwan. That's actually an imposed language by the ROC regime in exile.
Do not let the past hold you back in the past. Move forward.
伊讲莫用过去来甲咱别当向前行啦。
过来就是伊讲的这语言的问题吼。咧50年代白色恐怖的时阵，台湾人非常侪人逃去北美也是南美，所以若有这需要的话，这语言需要的话，应该会当咧遐找到会晓讲的台湾人。
Oh, in 1950s, there are a lot of our Taiwanese people just kind of ran away to the North America and to the South America. So if there's a need, we can find those Taiwanese in North America and South America speak the local language, English or Espanol?
对语言这个问题吼，就甲台积电的成就同款，若是台湾人有需要，台湾人一定做会到。不过咧这个部分，可能爱你若要了解台湾人的问题，应该爱先去了解中华民国不等于台湾，这是即摆的问题，毋是讲过去的问题。
He proposed saying that in terms of language issue, we Taiwanese still can perform as well as what we did with TSMC. Okay, at the same level. We can reach that level of achievement. So if you want to understand our problem here in Taiwan, you need to go more profoundly about the historical issues in the past.
Again, let me reiterate, meaning, let me repeat. I am familiar with Taiwanese history. The trials, thousands that were killed during the, what do you call it, white flower, whatever it was called. Okay. I understand
he insisted that actually you need to realize that ROC is not equal to Taiwan. They are actually two different issues. Taiwan is Taiwan. ROC is a region from China in exile.
I agree. Ironically, I agree with you. That's the reason I named at the start is Taiwanese Mandarin. And here, normally, I would not put up the Taiwanese flag. That is from the mainland.
Thank you for doing so.
Yeah. But again, I didn't want to get involved in politics. It's, in America, we don't do that. It's done out of respect that we don't do that. Okay?
Taiwan 顶管，伊规个 presentation 拢无用challenge，伊就是知影这个问题。So he is praising you that to have a good night. Okay.
Thank you. I'm sure I will.
Thank you for your sharing. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we have another one.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Or may I call you Sam, if that's all
Please,
right?
Sam, please.
Right. So I'm Taiwanese, but I was interestingly born in Hong Kong, and I was working in London for about 20 years.
Okay.
So my question, or I have my 2 cents, as we call in English. So I think, first of all, I echo whatever you mentioned, but I think, as the speaker, our friend at the back said that it's very hard to convince Taiwanese to visit South America because of all the reasons he mentioned. So I think, isn't it more practical in that case to welcome the South Americans which are already in the English-speaking world, namely Canada, London, or America, basically because those South Americans, they're already fluent in Spanish, and if they're already integrating themselves in the English-speaking world, then they're already speaking in English as well. So if we just need to let them into Taiwan more easier, such as reforming the nationality law so that they become our citizens easier, so that it would be, more, how to say, I won't say easier, but sometimes you have to swim with the tide, not fighting.
Adaptable.
Adapted, yeah, I'm just saying, wouldn't it be more, preferable to recruit those South Americans already integrated in this English-speaking world and make them easier to become Taiwanese citizens? And so that we can, through them, penetrate into the Spanish-speaking world? Would you think that would be an achievable way rather than, persuade them, all those 100 and something unis to have Spanish speaking? And I mean, in Taiwan, people are speaking, the cram schools, they mostly just focus on English and Japanese. You didn't mention Japanese just now, and we know that it's very hard to turn against the tide. So that's why I'm saying, wouldn't it be better to swim with the tide than, against it? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. But to repeat his question, I recommended that we recruit, meaning Taiwan, and I say we, that recruit people that speak the language, educated in Latin America, Spanish, and bring them here. Here's our alternative, which I'm in total agreement. Bring the people that are already acclimated, that are used to the language, the culture, that speaks the language. Bring them here to educate. I'm totally agreement. I'm a gradual extremist. If it takes a little bit, I would say let's do it. You don't have to throw everything in cold water. If it's little by little, why not? I'm advocate. Let's do it. But my thesis is whatever it takes, let's get it done. Sooner or later, it will have to be done because of necessity. Cannot dominate the market forever. And you have a safety net, the language. That's just one. Don't believe for a moment that's the only idea that I have. I've written a white paper. If anybody knows what a white paper is, it's for government officials. It's 70 pages. They're asking for it, okay, that I'm going to be turning in, giving it to the government that they say is going to turn it over to President William Lai. Hopefully they'll adapt 70 pages with numbers, figures. It's far more detailed than this presentation. Maybe they like it, maybe they like part of it or none of it, but I took a shot, one. Two, my thesis, PhD, is focusing on Taiwan. I'm advocating for Taiwan. I'm defending Taiwan, why language is an important factor, and one of them is what you suggested. Bring in people that are already acclimated to the culture, that speak the language and can benefit Taiwan. My whole presentation, my articles that I write, is for Taiwan. I'm not saying that I do. I argue more for Taiwan than most people do argue for Taiwan that are Taiwanese. They should be up here, and I should be down there listening and learning. But I learn from your questions. I'm on what we call the hot seat, okay? The hot seat meaning that I'm put under pressure to answer the correct question, okay? That I know what the question is. If I don't know, I'm not going to make it up. I don't know. I don't know everything. And one of the things that is a possibility is bring in people in here, but it's got to start somewhere. And again, the gentleman's statement, yes, a lot of people have gone through a lot of things here in Taiwan, and they don't want to move. They're comfortable here. I totally understand that. Again, I'm familiar with the culture, the history, okay? And that's the reason I'm advocating here for Taiwan. I'm sorry, somebody else had another question? Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Professor Atherton. I'm Chu-Chi Lin. I'm also a member of TAUP. I'm also very appreciate your affection toward Taiwan, and I was immersing in your speech because I share some language. I share some common languages with you because I'm also a teacher in different fields. First, I teach freshman English in universities, and I also delivered some courses on general education, including sustainable development, introduction to political science, international affairs. So that's why it seems to me it's a very familiar language in your slides. So first, I basically, you can say that again. I will say, because first you mentioned the core is about the language. I will say it because like one of my friends, the first professor, right? He mentioned that, Mr. Wu, he mentioned that the core question is politics. But basically, I agree, but I also disagree, because I think what he mentioned and what you mentioned, basically, it's not conflict, because we can deal with the issues all together, okay? Not all together, but all together. Yeah, because it's just like two sides of a coin. The language problem basically here is, take the English education for example. For Singapore, you mentioned it, it's the language policy because they take English as a second language. But in Taiwan, we speak English, but we learn English from school years. We take English as a foreign language, so it's different. But so that's why in my circle of friends, we also discuss this issue. If government of Taiwan can make the language policy, just like, for example, take the English as a second language, so everything will be different. And the second is about what you mentioned in Spanish. I agree that it's mindset, yeah. I think it's also very enlightening if more and more people can listen to your speech. I believe that will be a very convincing argument. Since you also touched the very, very important, the key points that also a lot of Taiwanese people, they like to make money. So in your first part of lecture, then you illustrate about data, right? About the market share in the world. So I agree. So I hope more and more people can share these parts. Yeah. And the second is the mindset. I also grew up in a family from my father encouraged me, speak English, learn English, because English is the key to the world, it's the access to the world. When I was a child, I was also encouraged by my father like this. But I agree with you that for the other foreign languages, then we need to change our mindset. Yeah, because we can, just like this example is about the word, I think it's the word view. For the English speaking words in Taiwan, for many people, they just like it's a place for vacation resort, right? But what you mentioned is the communication, it's the core. So our attitude towards our neighboring countries like Philippines, Vietnam, and many other countries in ASEAN, I think it's the same. We need to change our mindsets and rebuild our worldview. And then I think almost all of the Taiwanese here, we agree with this. Then we have a future, we have a vision. Who wouldn't? But we need to develop a strategic vision, which make it happen. Okay, that's all. Not much of question, but
Okay.
of my reflection. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anyone else with a question? Oh, down here. Hi.
是早期用1个月读了330页的中学生英文法，为了考高中。
Okay, he's the example in the past to use 1 month to read a handbook of English grammar, over 300 pages, 330 pages, just in order to pass the exam.
And I'm hard to speak my English. Communication with Mr. Ha. Mr. Sam.
It is still hard for him to communicate well with you.
We've had lunch, and I understand them well.
我们只有认识差不多3次，短短的3次，我很困难跟他 沟通我的想法。
They have you have 3 encounters. It's very difficult for him to communicate with you, to convey his thought and his thinking to you.
跟各位教授比起来，我是比较汗颜呐。
I feel shameful compared with professors.
那么，我觉得短短的跟他的在一起，我知道他非常爱台湾。
Oh, through your interaction together, although with very limited time, he fully understands that you love Taiwan so deeply. Thank you.
所以我刚刚把他的演讲都录影，我回去用读的。
He videoed the whole your PowerPoint, and then back home he will read it very carefully.
Thank you.
Afterwards.
我今天一个最大的收获，就是我应该教我的女儿、我的儿子，教他的小孩读西班牙语跟英文。
Okay. Today I'm here. The biggest harvest or biggest learning is that I will tell my daughter and my son to ask my grandchildren to learn Espanol.
Well, I guess I'm doing something right.
因为他的最后一个结语就是台湾50年的未来，在国际上的地位。
Okay, because your conclusion is that concerned with the future of Taiwan in the next 50 years.
我有一次要跟他讲赖清德总统的选举，我没有办法表达，我借这个机会请他翻译，然后也让大家知道我的经历，短短的一个经历，同时也让他知道。
Okay, in the past, I met with you, and I would like to mention my idea about President Lai. But it's very difficult for me to communicate with you about that issue. But today, I would like to say it again to you.
那总统选举那一天，我一大早我就在台北选举选完，然后我就8点多就载一位30几岁的女生回台南要选举，回台南从台北要到台南，那4点以前就要结束了。我开车我可以从屏东夜间开车屏东到台北4个钟头，不是自动驾驶，我也没有超速，也没有违规，我就是把油门踩到117、118，不会110的一个限制可以到120以内，我就这样4个钟头到台北。但是选举那一天，我竟然从8点多载那一位小女生到台南的一个快速路，她妈妈在交流道接续载她去选举，刚好在选举的投票口4点整刚好投那一票。那最重要的就是在高速公路上面，我被挡了，有人刻意挡。赖总统的票不止那几十万，他少了10几20万的票。
He's talking about the story on the election day when President Lai was elected. On that day, he went to vote in the very beginning at 8 o'clock. And right after that, he tried to bring a girl of 20-something back to Tainan to vote. However, on that day, he was stuck on the way, on the highway, on the freeway. It's very difficult to drive on that day. And it seems that he was purposely blocked by something, all right? So he arrived in the interaction just almost. Time is almost out at 4 o'clock. The girl's mother came to pick her up to ride to go to vote, and just almost on time at 4 o'clock. So President Lai was elected successfully. However, it seems the ballot, the vote, was short of almost 200,000 votes. That's the story on that day.
台湾不只是毒品，可能我们要非常小心谨慎，因为那天我从台北出发，沿途就被发觉高速公路的车潮龟速。我一看时间，我要4点要到达台南，非常不可能。依据那个速度，所以我就钻那个车阵的那个漏洞，也稍微有空档我就钻出去以后，发觉前面是空空的，这个车阵跟那个车阵是空空的。我一进去那个车阵又龟速，就是应该是有人从桃园、苗栗或者是新竹，他投完票，或者是刻意的他上来挡。这个是我亲身刚好被我碰到的一个经历，所以这个车阵一挡，那个车阵一挡，好几个车阵，因为我的时间我控制那觉得非常，对，所以就是。
Okay.
发觉是这个因素。
He's talking about the purposeful blocking on the freeway. It's just like the driving is like a turtle on the freeway, and something was manipulated by somebody. And so in the past, it took only 4 hours from Pingdong to Taipei for him. But on that day, almost one whole day, he couldn't reach the destination. Okay, and that's the issue. Not just about those crimes in Taiwan. That's another issue. We are worried. We are worrying about the election because we are worried about the manipulation of those counting of the ballots. Yeah, it's very dangerous, risky to lose Taiwan because of the election. That's what I'm worried most. Okay, thank you for your sharing. Thank you for your speech. Give a big hand. All right. 他要抽一个得奖者。
First of all, if I may, I want to thank everybody here, to Pastor Huang for allowing me to speak, and to Dr. Tien, and I'd like to present her with this book here.
Oh, thank you, Mother Tongue. 照一张一下。
And I'd like
come over here.
I'd like to thank all the professors and guests that were here to listen to me. Thank you so very
Professor
much.
Tai. Okay, thank you. And Professor Zhang. Yeah, thank you. All right, and we have Professor Lin here, all right. And Pastor Huang did a lot of work for us. Thank you. 那伊要抽一个奖啦，哈，要送大家迄个美金。我冇礼物要送伊。
We're going to raffle this. This is a special collection. They're not individual. They are uncut $2 bills, which are rare. And we're going to draw. Everybody fill out a name, number. Yeah. And these are from the United States government where they are not cut. They're one unit. Okay. So, let's see who gets lucky. Now, should I look or no? You see, I'm turning around. Number 3006.
006.
3006。
徐清流。Oh, wonderful!
因为是你们办的，我是刚好。
I did not fix this. Thank you. People are going to think this was a dishonest election. There you go. Congratulations.
And we have the gift from Taiwan Association of University Professor. That's the photo of Cairo declaration. And also Formosa Betray in Chinese. It's just new edition, revised edition, and some essay collections too.
Thank you.
And umbrella from our association and the bank. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, shall we take a photo together? All together, can you just have a seat in the front? Okay, and there's some umbrella from our association. Yes. It's the big for
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Have a seat with the pastor then. Pastor then.
Thank you.
Okay. 大家一起照一张团体照。